Welcome and good morning to Mike Ferry TV. I want to start today with a little different approach. There are two words that I've been talking about for the last 3 years to real estate people. And I think these two words have a major impact and or effect on your productivity, on your income, on your business and your life. And the words are complacency and apathy. And I want to mention them for a minute, and then I'm going to start talking about how to build your listing skills to help you become a better listing agent. Complacency is when you are satisfied with what you have. Complacency is when you're not going to do anything out of the ordinary to change your lifestyle, your income, how you think, how you behave, how you act. Now, guess what? If you're complacent and you're doing well, congratulations. But remember, complacency restricts growth. Complacency keeps you where you are. Complacency doesn't allow people to go to the next level of their life or their business. I always say complacency is the disease of the human spirit. It's where the human spirit has quit, given up, and said, that's it. I make $60,000 a year, and I have my little house, and I have my little car, and I take my annual vacation, and that's as good as it gets. Well, I think that's great. In fact, I really love it if you're my competitor, and that's how you think. Because, I'm going to beat you like a bad stepchild. You have no chance. When a person is complacent, your competition is as good, they're going to win all the time. But the second side of that is apathy. And what I noticed the last couple of years, and it became very strong in 2013, 2014, in working with all these great audiences I see, was the apathy of the audience. And that is the fact that they just gave up. Too many people have given up. It's a new year. You have a new chance. Start again. See, what happened is 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011 took a huge physical, mental, emotional, financial toll on the world. Not you only, not your company, not the real estate business, the world. The world got beat up with that entire real estate / economic recession we went through. Everybody got beat up. But what happened is the apathy set in as a result. We became used to the fact that where we used to do 20 sales a year, now we're doing 10. Where we used to make 90,000 a year, now we're making 40. And that apathy, that fact that we cannot get any better, is dangerous, destructive, and will never allow you to grow to become who you want to become. So complacency and apathy are issues we have to look at individually and deal with. Well, in addition to that then, and I say this virtually every week, then you have the hard part, and that is deciding if you're going to spend your time listing property or working with buyers. It's a huge decision because, and you've heard me say this for the last couple of years a lot, the agents that choose to work with buyers are taking the path of least resistance. Why? Because the skill set of an agent that works with a buyer and the skill set of an agent that works with a seller are completely different, night and day. I mean, they couldn't be any farther apart. And that's why I don't understand in our business why brokers don't say to agents, which path are you going to take? Either one's okay. Which path are you going to take? Are you going to work with buyers? Are you going to work with sellers? Because then you train the agent on two totally different skill sets. I'm going to assume today, as I assume with all the great clients we work with, and I'm trying to convince them all the time of this, that the answer to high productivity and high income is listing property. Why? Because, again, as you've heard me say, you're the employer. You take 3-4 listings a month, which everybody here is capable of doing. Don't say you can't do it. You can do it. You choose not to, which is fine, but don't say you can't. I mean, don't feed me that BS that you can't do something. You can do something. You're just choosing not to do something. And when you change that behavior or that thought here that I can do something by learning what to say, learning what to do, then I can go do it. So don't tell me you can't list property. You choose not to. You take the path of least resistance. See, the listing agent is the employer. You get 3-4 listings a month, 2-3 listings a month. You have 10-12 listings in inventory. Everybody in your town works for you. And if you have good listings, which you can take, then they really want to work for you. But when you're working with buyers, you're the employee. You're working for the employer, the listing agent, because if there's no good listings, you're out of business, aren't you? So the skill set of the two are different. So what we're going to look at for the next several weeks is how do we build the skill set and become a better listing agent. I want to read to you just a couple sentences real quickly here. I wrote down, if you're having brain surgery, hopefully you're not, performed, you want a highly skilled surgeon. If you're flying through bad weather on a commercial flight, you want a highly skilled pilot. If you're defending yourself in a legal situation, you want a highly skilled attorney. Sellers want highly skilled real estate sales people. What we're going to do next is look at how to become a highly skilled salesperson that lists property. And I think I've probably written down, I don't know, probably 25, 30 different thoughts on how to become a highly skilled listing agent, which is skill development. And over the course of the next several weeks, we're going to look at a lot of those because I want to keep pushing and keep pounding against complacency and apathy. I want to keep pushing and pounding to build your skill set. I want to keep pushing and pounding to build your mindset. I want you to become a great listing agent. Now, the question is, do you? Well, I'm not sure, Mike, if I want to pay that kind of a price. Hey, you're going to work anyway. Why not get paid more? You're going to put in the time. Why not have more productivity? Unless the issues of complacency and apathy run your life, we can change your productivity. No order of importance, but here's some beginning thoughts on becoming a better skilled listing agent. I wrote down number 1, create for yourself. For yourself now. This is not for the office. It's not for somebody else. For you. Create for yourself a skills development program or plan. A checklist of what skills you will add to your business in a time frame to master each. Okay, so what are the skills of a great listing agent? Prospecting, finding potential sellers, obviously good lead follow-up, making sure that if they are ready, you're there for them. Pre-qualifying to make sure that that seller has the skill, the ability, motivation to sell. Pricing, because you want to price it to sell. Making your listing presentation in a professional manner, which we'll talk about a lot. Obviously handling the objections that all sellers have. Then closing the sale, negotiating a contract with the buyer for that seller, doing the administrative work. Whoa, Mike, are you kidding me? You want me to do all of that to become a great listing agent? No, that's just the beginning. Well, in those areas, watch. Which of these skills do you want to add over the next 60, 90 days? And what time frame do you have to master each? You go to www.mikeferry.com, you go to my website, every single script and dialogue for these skills is available to you. Are you willing to spend the time practicing and learning? That's part of the skill development plan. That's a big issue, the skill development plan. I wrote down number 2. Use the skills you have as a way to probe to find out the needs, the desires of the seller. Okay, part of skill development is the ability to ask questions. Listing agents ask questions. Showing agents talk. Isn't this a beautiful home? Whoa, isn't this pretty? It's so great the way the house was laid out. A listing agent, why do you have to sell? Where are you moving to? When do you have to be there? What is your motivation? How much money do you want for your property? What do you own the property today? If I could get you this price, would you consider accepting that offer? Well, if you take and say to yourself, the skill of asking questions, part of your development plan, is a critical skill, then everything that I ask, that I make a note of, I can use later in my presentation with that particular seller. So my skills have to be part of the process, and that skill is the skill of asking questions. Number 3, as strange as this may sound to some of you, you should be role-playing your listing presentation, obviously, in front of a mirror at least once a week. How do you look? Are you smiling? Do you have a frown on your face? Do you have a sign of confidence? Do you look strong? Do you look effective? Do you look timid? Do you look weak? Do you look shy? Are you afraid that they might say something you don't like? See, you need to do what other professionals do, and that's put a mirror in front of you and role play and practice. We have several friends that are professional comedians, and they've all told me the same thing. They will spend hours standing in front of a full-length mirror doing their routine to make sure that the expressions, the delivery, it has the power and the meaning that they want to accomplish and do. How are you doing in that area? Role play your listing presentation in front of a mirror virtually once a week for the next 12 months. Then I wrote down next for skill development, record on your CD player a live listing presentation. Sit down with the seller. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I've got my CD player here. I'm going to record my presentation because I want to make sure that when I have left tonight and when I get back tomorrow, that I'm doing the right thing for people like yourself. I'm going to record this. I'm going to critique it. Some of you will actually say, and I have a professional coach to help me. I wrote down the next skill development thought is remember that selling is not telling people. Selling is asking people. Practice asking questions. If you want to become a great listing agent, you have to ask questions. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, may I ask you a question? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, do you understand the value of this? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, do you see why I'm going to price it the way I want to price it? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, can you see how these activities will lead you to a sale a little bit quicker? Selling is asking questions. Now think about it for just a minute. You can tell people what to do, and you don't really know if they're listening or responding. Or you can ask them what they're doing to see where they're coming from. You got to think about the fact that selling is asking questions. I wrote down next, to build your skills, stay in momentum at all times. Now, let me explain. Stay in momentum. Stop stopping and starting all the time. See, too many of you say, all right, I'm going to go out and list property. So you prospect on Tuesday and you don't get the results you want. So you don't prospect till the next Monday. And then you say, oh man, that's it. I'm going to really do it this week. So you prospect on Monday, prospect on Tuesday. You get 2 good leads, which is going to happen. You have to go on a listing appointment. Then you don't prospect Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Stop stopping. Momentum is very important, positive or negative. Negative momentum keeps you stopping from building your skills. Think about this. You go on 1 listing presentation a month. Honestly, how good can you become? You go on 1 listing presentation a week with a little momentum, you can become better. You go on 3 listing presentations a week, momentum will make you great. Then you practice and role play in front of a mirror to make that momentum work better. Then you record a listing presentation live to make it better yet. See, momentum can be a wonderful positive influence on your business and on your life. And then I wrote down the next, okay, and this is such an important point in building your skills. You have to learn to ask the people for an appointment, and once you get an appointment, you have to learn to ask them to sign the contract. You have to get comfortable in asking. Goes back to asking questions. If you're not a business person, if you're not a salesperson, if you have no experience in our industry of selling, then asking questions can be a challenge. So what I'm going to recommend to you is you start asking questions of everybody all the time, momentum, and to get comfortable asking questions. See, most people are very uncomfortable if they don't have a sales background asking questions. If you take and watch any of the many videos on YouTube of me making a listing presentation, all it is questions. There's nothing more to it. I mean, I'm going to ask any place from 75 to 125 questions in 20 minutes to lead them from sitting down to signing a contract. Okay? So the last point for today, and we're going to continue this now for several weeks, to build your skills, be proud of the service you offer and the method you use to present it and get a home sold. Are you nervous walking into the house? Are you excited walking to the house? Are you hesitant to walk in, or can you not wait to get there and present what you have to present? Do you have a defined strategy to get that listing? Do you have a defined strategy to get it sold? Can you walk into a house and say to yourself, there is no better person to list this house than me, and I'm here to make that happen? Well, you see, this is all part of the skill building. You know, what is the service you offer? How good is it? Is that service the kind that causes the seller to say, wow, this is a great agent? So think about these points. Think about these thoughts. Go back to point 1, skill development plan for yourself. Which skills do you have to work on? Work on 1 skill on listing property from now to next week. Remember, your job, be the employer. Why? The employer gets paid more, and that's our job to help you get paid more. See you next week.